Hi guys, welcome back to Game On. Today we are tackling another viewer request that we got from the Greater Danbury Gamers group on Facebook.
Thank you guys once again for giving us fodder for videos and answering questions and engaging with us.
Exactly. And today's question comes from one of the admins, Kyle. He's asking, how does one even get started in the RPG gaming community? And that's kind of interesting because there's three real different distinct ways to get involved, right?
Yeah, typically it's one of three categories, right? You've got the newbie who's joining an experienced troupe of gamers. You've got a bunch of new people that are trying to join or learn this thing all together, and they're sort of collaborating on it. Or you've got an individual who is intrigued by it and wants to get into gaming, but they don't know anybody who's into gaming and they don't have another group of people who wants to join and start up with them. So they're kind of doing it on their own. So there's very distinct ways that those kind of things happen.
Yeah.
So
I was lucky enough to be number one in our three.
you're number one.
Oh,
Justin.
thank you. Yeah, no, I was lucky enough to have a group of friends in the game that I was like, hey, I want to join. They're like, come on down. Not that everyone would get that reference because no one lives in New England.
Except the people asking these questions.
Except for the people asking these questions.
Yeah, and I was definitely the third one. I was a solo newbie, and I didn't know people who were into gaming, but it seemed cool to me. I back in the days when there were actually bookstores that you could go to on a regular basis, I would see these gaming books. My dad had bought me a pink box D&D set, and we tried to play that, and but then I sort of grew into it, collected a bunch of books and got into it, and then I was the one who drew other people in. So
Okay.
So it was a very, very different experience.
Yeah. So again, I was kind of number one. I was lucky enough where I had those people to draw me into the game, and when that happens, jump on the chance because you'll get to learn and meet some pretty cool people. Pay attention to what they do, and then learn it, and hopefully they're not bad things that they're doing.
Yeah. I think that type of experience is probably the maybe not the easiest, maybe the easiest, but certainly the most high percentage in terms of being successful and getting into it. Because if you've got an experienced group of players to work with, you can just kind of copy what they do, and you can learn from them and their friends and colleagues and whatever else that you're just sort of absorbing that material as you're playing and having fun. And even if you don't know how to do everything or it's not second nature to you yet, watching other people do it and be successful at it, it lets you absorb that skill faster.
Yeah.
So.
And actually, kind of ironically enough, this comes from a Facebook group full of people who know how to play. So if there's somebody who's like, hey, I want to get into it, it's like, come play with us.
Well, yeah, and that's a facet that certainly I didn't have when I was learning how to play. But there are all kinds of virtual support groups for gaming, right? The social media groups and online forums and all these things that you can take advantage of to sort of collect knowledge, collect techniques, get the benefit of other people's experience, so that when you start playing, you are already primed with a little bit of knowledge to be more successful.
Yeah, and to go a little bit out of order, that's actually probably one of the better ways if you're alone and you've never played before, you don't really know anybody.
Oh, yeah.
Finding an LFG, kind of looking for a group type forum.
Whether you have, experienced gamer friends in real life, or you make experienced gamer friends in a virtual life, drawing from other people's experiences is definitely not only going to make you more successful, but it's going to make it more fun in a lot of ways. And a lot of experienced groups, they want to recruit new people. They really do, or they should. That's a note to all you experienced gamers out there. the gaming world gets better when more people are in it.
Yep.
So help bring the new guys in and give them the benefit of your experience and help them have fun with it. Because if they get into gaming and they start buying books, then all the companies who make books will make more books, and you'll be able to buy more books because there are more books made. So it's good for you to bring new people in. It's not an exclusive hobby.
Yes, blood for the blood god. No gatekeeping. No gatekeeping. Well, I'll have a list up here of like different places that you can go to find yourself.
Yeah, resources, online resources.
Yeah, we'll definitely have a list up. But how about this? What's here? I mean, other than a Netflix series, I
Oh
still
my
haven't
goodness, there is a visual aid.
Seen. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so
Apparently, it's
number
a good TV show. I don't know.
number two, what if you're a group of newbies who's never played before? None of you have ever had any experience gaming, but you're into the idea. You want to try it. Maybe you were inspired by Stranger Things, and maybe you were just came upon it some other way. But you want to get involved. Nowadays, it's easier than ever because of things exactly like this, which is a starter set. Gaming companies have gotten smart, realizing that they need to lower the barrier to let people get involved in these games. So they create products specifically geared towards the ranked beginner.
Yeah.
And so they give you a simplified version of everything you need for a lower buy-in price. And in some cases, these companies give them away online, like a PDF version of it for free.
Yep.
Which is amazing and awesome. And man, if they had that 30 years ago or whatever, there would be so many more gamers in the gaming world because it would have been that much easier and cheaper to get involved. But they've gotten smart. They've taken advantage of online resources, and they give you the opportunity to get involved with a starter set. If you and a group of friends all go in together on a starter, you guys are, you're paying a few bucks a piece.
Yeah.
And you guys can run with this. Now, that's presuming that you have rank beginner players and also a rank beginner GM, right? Because look, if none of you have played before, then nobody knows how to run the game either. That's going to be where a starter set really helps you, and where the box stock modules.
Yep.
You're going to want to run something written to be successful for people who don't know how to improvise as much and are just kind of learning how the ropes of this thing.
Yeah.
So run the module as it comes. Go online, go on the forums, ask people if you find some of these resources, which modules, which adventures are more fun or more easily managed for beginners. Get the benefit of somebody else's experience to a certain degree. And then just run them and get a few under your belt, and then maybe start customizing them a little bit after that, and you're off and running. Then you're a veteran gamer at that point. So
It's a lot cheaper to buy a $29 starter set than a $50 or $60 core rulebook.
yes, and that's just how the industry has evolved, right?
Yeah.
It used to be that they had the whole game in a box, at least in D&D's case and some of these other games. And they were a little more expensive, but they had everything you needed. And then they started diversifying and putting core rule books as standalone products, and then expansions and all of these things. And then they, did this, which created a barrier for beginners. So then to answer that, they came back to this idea, which has the simplified version of everything. And then once you use this, get good with it, and have fun with it, well, then you start adding to your collection with the expansions.
I do have one addendum to say to that. It's just, if you're a group of new players, don't be afraid to start. You're going to make some mistakes. I mean, we've been DMing for a long time, and we still make mistakes all the time. So don't be afraid.
There hasn't been a game where somebody hasn't fumbled the ball, either the GM or the players or both regularly. It's just part of it. Look, improvisational activities like this are inherently flawed in a certain sense. And, don't worry about it. You make a mistake, you didn't do something quite the way you should have, you flubbed a rule call, whatever it is, none of it's going to derail the fun. So just, do the best you can, get some experience under your belt, both as a player and some experience in your character.
Yep.
And go. And this is the way to do it if you're a group of newbies. If you're a player out there and you don't have a group of friends that you're joining with, right? Either experienced or other newbies, and you're trying to find games to participate in, there are 3 venues that you can really sort of come in cold and get a group of people to play with. Justin alluded to the online resources, virtual tabletops. We've talked about what Roll20 and we'll put another list of resources, right? But there's also 2 others in Meet Space, right?
I love that website.
Justin might put a link there, but be careful about clicking on it. Gaming stores, the places you buy products, oftentimes have gotten into having tables set up where you can play a game, and you can walk in as a newbie and join a table where people. That's going to teach you what the gaming experience is really about in a way that virtual tabletops aren't. Nothing wrong with the virtual stuff.
No.
But you can't. There's no replacement for sitting around a table with a bunch of like-minded people having a good time playing these games.
Fuck no. Go on.
Hey?
I said fuck no. There's no replacement for it.
Justin feels strongly about this.
Very strongly about that.
As do I, although I was holding back. So that. But maybe you don't have a gaming store, or maybe you haven't found that resource yet. There's another one. Gaming conventions. They happen all over the place.
Last year.
Except for last year, yes. But we're getting back to normal, supposedly. And so, look, one of the principal features of a gaming convention is running games for groups of strangers, people who don't know one another, but they come together over a common interest.
Yeah.
And there's opportunities to play all kinds of games. Obscure stuff that you wouldn't find at your local gaming store, right? If you're going to play D&D, chances are you'll find a table that you can play D&D at. But maybe there's a weird, obscure game that you heard about.
Yep.
But a con will oftentimes offer you the opportunity to try a game that you've never seen in the wild. And it'll also give you the experience of playing with different people, whether you're experienced or not experienced, and learn new techniques. Learn how people somewhere else do things. And you'll be able to pick up cool ideas from both the GM and other players that'll make your gaming experience more rewarding. So cons, big plus. Gaming stores, big plus. Be present, be in person, play with other people. It's a social activity. Make the most of that if you can.
Yep.
Justin and I met through a gaming store. A set of tables that we started playing together, and now it's turned into a goofy, video web show. So anyway, so that's the only thing that I would say about if you're a solo newbie, there are avenues to pursue, both virtual and in person, and take the time and find it, because
there you go. Well, thank you guys very much for watching. Again,
yes, indeed.
Let us know in the comments how you got into gaming, and if you are a newbie.
Hopefully you've made it all the way to this point in the video, even if you're a ranked beginner, and we've given you some ideas on how to have fun.
Exactly.
Also, more questions, because these are awesome. These are fun. These have actually given us a lot to think about and answer and participate with you guys and engage with you guys. So more questions, keep them coming, and we'll try and tackle as many as we can.
Yeah, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and game on.
Game on, guys.